Good morning, everyone. My name is Mackie, and welcome to the video. Spring is here. The birds are shining. The crows are clucking. The trees are growing in the air, and the sun is coming out. The clocks are turning a little bit forward. It is time for spring, and it's time for the LEC Spring Split 2023. Same format as the Winter Split. Now, with the winner of the spring split gets an automatic qualification to MSI as the number one seed. And a locked into the playoffs and all the other yada yada things. Let's just go into what the video is. So, today's video, I will discuss my tier list. Now, I am getting a lot of pushback by the Reddit community, a few Reddit commenters, but a little pushback none the same. I did actually label this as a trigger warning to some of these people. So I will go through my tier list of the LEC Spring Split and tell them why do I put this team there, despite of course the criticism and all this kind of stuff. And then we'll move forward with it. And then, of course, later on, I will place my predictions of the first 3 weeks of the split. See if my record in the spring split is probably better than the winter split. Spoiler alert, they weren't. And see if I can do better in spring. So, without further ado, let's just go straight to the bottom to the top. So, Astralis is D tier. So, I am not surprised about this D tier team. I mean, the reason why Astralis were in the playoffs is because of XL exploding, Fnatic are not imploding, and they just got the benefit of it. They did not prove well in the playoffs to ever, move it up the standards. And now, of course, they replaced Dayon with Litter. It's not going to make a gigantic difference for them. It's going to make a slight difference, but in terms of like, are Astralis going to be one of those top teams? This is not looking for me. So D tier, Astralis, no surprises there. The other team that I think one commenter said that they feel like it's too low is BDS. Now, I get it. I get it. BDS did well in the spring split, in the winter split. Their academy team did absolutely well. And you know what? I would have put BDS on top of them. But the way they did it in the group stage was kind of disappointing because I was feeling like the way they played in the regular season of the winter split does not match what they did in the group stage, and they kind of bottom out. Now, you're right. I feel like BDS should have been a lot higher, but remember, this is also my list, so my opinions are my opinions. And the way the BDS did not change their lineup completely, I think this is going to be a recession to the mean. Having been said all of that, I feel like the meta could suit BDS a little bit of a way. If the bot lane could do specifically well in there, that will be a huge thing. And I think the mid lane specifically has to do well. Now, remember, I don't remember most of the team's names, so bear with me. But I feel like BDS are a good team that should have been a lot higher. But I put them in the D category because of how great they were, but they were not great in the group stage. So until they are like, rising up, get 1 or 2 wins against the top dogs, then I will showcase that they are proven to be one of those B, C tier kind of teams or something. But until then, they're just D tier. They're not bad. They're not as bad as Astralis. But the way they finished the winter split just makes you feel like I expected more from them. C tier goes to XL. Now, yes, I know. XL should have been lower. I was an idiot. Sandwich again. I think XL should have been lower. I feel like the way this team was constructed was not good. I feel they decided to replace their support, if I guessed it correctly. So that will change a bit. But the way this team was constructed, it almost felt like XL was trying to swing for the fences. And not only they swing for the fences, they kind of missed a lot. And if Patrick can pop off like he always do, then I would say XL could be a higher list. But unfortunately, the way this team is constructed and being together in a pretty much short time. Remember, this is only 3 weeks, so you could get away with it. This was like a double elimination format, and then this team will ramp up. But to do this in 3 straight weeks, it's pretty much tough. So yeah, now they get another year in their belts. Now now the meta is gonna change a bit. I feel like the XL could just rise it up, but because of how their split ended and finishing bottom was not great for them, I will give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe this is just like the first year together with a new team and the chemistry has not been great. So I will give them a little bit of a reprieve for this. And I think C tier is probably the best they can do. They can climb higher, of course. They can be a B tier if they can make it to, I don't know, group stage. Maybe a top 4 if they can be unlucky. But for now, I think C tier is probably the best tier. Fnatic. Yep, we need to talk about Fnatic. I'm gonna say something right now. I've seen Manchester United get absolutely clapped by Liverpool, and then I just realized myself, surely things can never get worse than this. I mean, the worst is already over. There's a motorcycle just driving in just across the road, so sorry about that. If you're a Fnatic fan, after what happened last split, you're just thinking to yourself, surely this cannot get worse. Surely. I mean, it's already worse than it already is, so you know what? Replace top lane, replace support, keep the same mid jungle duo, which was a problem, the last 2 splits. And also let's keep Reckless because, what can we do with him? We can't buy Upset because Upset is down on our team. We'll get to that later. It almost felt like, this entire split is almost felt like, I'm not gonna call it a redemption, I'm more like calling a salvation split. I'm gonna be able to say that Fnatic could make the split, but I do not think that Fnatic are going to be one of those top 4 teams that can, shake up the LEC and win. That doesn't mean they are bad. I feel the new players that they have are going to be better than the players that they have in the winter split, which I think if you're a Fnatic fan, you would take this over anything every day of the week. But consider how the winter split ended. I put it in C tier because unless Humanoid can pop the hell off, then I just don't see them team. I mean, Reckless is old, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but I rather have Wild Turtle on my Fnatic team than having Reckless. Have you seen what Wild Turtle did last night? I mean, that kid was brutal. I mean, he just clapping those young men like cheeks. So. And the way Reckless is right now, he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player. But the way Fnatic are right now, if bot lane is probably the focus in the meta right now, and Reckless is not performing as best, then you could just give up that bot lane and play mid more. And Humanoid is a great player, don't get me wrong, but Humanoid in regular season is as bad as Humanoid in the playoff. Because when Humanoid plays, when the chips are down, when the stakes are high, when everybody's just like nervous with their hands sweaty and all that kind of stuff, he can pop off, but during a regular split, he was not. And that concerns me. Humanoid is probably the only good player on that Fnatic team that can just say that he could be the one that unlocks Fnatic, could make this Fnatic team great. And of course, because of the top and bot, changes, of course, both bot and support are playing from the Fnatic BQ team, the Super Liga team. Yep, that's probably the only proof. So I would say that the squad on paper does not look bad, but because of the way it ended, I'm thinking to myself, this cannot get worse than eliminated right from the winter split and then spring. Because getting eliminated in the winter split is one thing. Getting eliminated in the spring split is a whole nother thing, because the spring split, it have the same amount of points, which means nothing changes from this winter to spring split. But if Fnatic miss playoffs again, they will be behind the 8 ball throughout the rest of the summer. And that cannot be good for an organization like Fnatic. I mean, I've already given Fnatic their eulogy already. The only way they can just fight off. It's to perform well. I just want to see Fnatic perform good. Okay, listen. You're never gonna be a G2, nor Mad Lions, nor the way Vitality are right now, and maybe Core. You know, maybe it may not be Core, but I just want this team to be decent. Look. This is not a fan. I'm not a Fnatic fan. But I can tell you from many Fnatic supporters right now, after Winter Split, they just want a good team. They just want a good team to make playoffs and then make some noise that they can. I mean, you look at SK, you look at BDS, and yeah, BDS kind of stuck, but at least they made noise. Fnatic has to be decent enough to make the playoffs, and then even decent enough to make top 4. And then I would just say, okay, maybe there'll be a B tier, A tier at best, but the way the Winter Split ended, I just don't see Fnatic doing well. So I put them in C tier. Is not it? I know it's a kind of insulting for the Fnatic fans, but consider how last split ended. Can you blame me? Can you really blame me? Don't think so. Heretics, same squad, C tier. Nothing too shocking for me. I mean, they're just, trying to rev up their season, of course. But the way the squad is constructed, same squad as always. I just don't have that good feeling about the squad. They've been up and down the whole split. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. This is their first major split together. This is their first split as a new org. At least they're not Rogue back in 2019. They were bottom feeders for the rest of the season. So at least they made playoffs for the first year. That's great. But in terms of are they intriguing? Are they like a team that makes you feel like, wow, they could be so good? They're not. I mean, we know Top is good. Yankos is also good. Ruby is fine. Jacetrica is brilliant. There's that feeling of, are Heretics going to take the next step? Like, okay, you made playoffs, you did fine, but can you beat the Mad Lions? Can you beat Koi? Can you beat G2? Those kind of things. Can you overtop them and actually perform well? We'll find out with the meta, of course, that is being taken. But I just felt like the way Heretics did last split, it just doesn't convince me that they can move up, another tier. Maybe I should have put it in D tier, but that would be too insulting to me because of the quality of the players that they have. And Cassante is still running well, so I think Evie will have to pick it up 6 or 7 times during the split. So he got that going. So I feel like Heretics are going to be fine. They're just not good enough to overcome the other teams on top of the standings. That's just the way it is. At least it might be Koi again, which is something for the Spanish rivalry. So, SK is my B tier. Now, I know what you're thinking. I think SK and Mad Lions, I think there's one Redditor say that SK and Mad Lions to just switch it up a bit. And here's the thing. You're right. You're kind of right here. BDS, what a winter split they have with the rookie team that they have. It's incredible. Top 4, not bad. I mean, first time they have top 4 in years, which is saying something. And they did it with some rookies on the team. They performed well against in the Mad Lion series. I feel like it should have. I feel like it would have been. It should have been close, to be honest. The way they made it, it was feeling close. I mean, Blue Side really dominated the series, but they made work of Mad Lions. They made them sweat, and it was incredible. And it was incredible to see this rookie team growing in front of our eyes. The reason why I put it in B tier and not in a higher up is because, do I feel like this is their peak? Do I feel like that winter split is kind of like they're up there and now they just plateau, and you know what? That's it. That's just their peak, and maybe they'll fall back right down to earth. That's what I'm thinking. We have seen so many teams, rookie teams, dominate early in the split, showcase their dominance, having some high-flying performances, and then come crashing down to earth. Now, I don't see that with T1, with their rookie teams right there. I mean, they're getting better and better with every age. I mean, look at T1 in the standings. Jesus, that is brutal. But other teams are just they started off well, they did incredibly well, and then fall off. Look at Bo. Look at Bo. I mean, look at Bo right in the LEC so far. He was incredible. The first couple of games during the winter split was incredible. He was incredible. And then he fell off, and so does the team itself. And of course, bot lane kind of fell off a bit, but he fell off. And so does the rest of the team. And it was Photon who had literally carried Vitality on their back so many times, and even he's not enough. So my worry about SK is pretty much simple. Can this rookie team take it up to the next level? Can this rookie team just turn from, okay, we're top 4, great, but can we be top 3? Can we be top 2? Can we win the split? And you're thinking to yourself, oh yeah, we can totally win the split. But it all comes down to how the meta plays to these rookies, and can these rookies step up a notch? So don't tell me wrong. Don't get me wrong. SK are a lovely, lovely story to follow and a lovely, lovely team to support. And if you're an SK fan right now watching this today or any other day, I say to you SK fans, this is the best time to be alive right now. This is the best time to be an SK fan right now. You're happy, you're brilliant, and I just say right now it is great. And I feel like, Mad Lions and SK should have been swapped up, but I just want to see more from SK. I mean, yeah, SK did well against the G2, the Core, and Vitality. That week was brutal for them, and they managed to beat all 3 of them. Was incredible, and then just like, it's credible, and I wanted to see more growth in them. Having been said all of that, I think SK could be a top 8 team again, but can they reach back the heights of top 4? Maybe, maybe not. But because of how good this rookie team is, I feel like I will give them the benefit of the doubt, and C tier will be fine for them. They're not up B tier, they're not even S tier to be honest, but C tier in the middle, pretty much fine. I know they would. I feel like I should have switched up with Mad Lions. Mad Lions are good, but SK have been proven they can be more like that. They can just go to the upper echelon. So yeah, SK by C tier, and if they can do well, maybe B tier or higher. Speaking of B tier, let's go to Koi. So Koi's lineup is probably the same. I think the one problem that Koi has is literally the top lane and the mid lane. I think mid lane has been pretty much pollen for me, especially Larson. But I feel like that many people talk about top lane. I think the Power Spike crew with Degond and Monte Cristo talk about how top lane was kind of like a liability and an asset. It always felt like, if you're a Koi fan, why do you sell Oldawame and replace a guy who's trying to become Oldawame but cannot do Oldawame things? I mean, that's been the question. Now Sorry about that. The reason why I put Koi into the B tier because of their history, because of how they've done in these best of situations. Their best of ones have not been great, but their best of situations, the best of 3s, the best of 5s, has been good so far. And they're still the same players that won the split. So I will give them the benefit of the doubt. But the way other teams have been improved and level up and all those kind of things, it just makes you want to feel like, how can Koi, do well in those spring split with a top player that's not even great at being a weak side junk top laner? I think that's gonna be the worry about so many Koi fans about it. That their top lane could be the crux of their problems. And it all is going to come up to how Larson, Comp, and Tribby, the bottom side of the group, can perform. And Malrank is still going to Malrank. I mean, Malrank is a beast. Try stopping him as hard as you can. He's not going to stop doing what he's going to do. And that'll be hard for himself. So, B tier is where Koi will go. I think C tier is what I feel like I should have put them in C tier because of the top lane. And of course, this is the rest of the team. And because of how they've done throughout the rest of the splits, I think I put them B tier. They're good, but we'll see more from them. Mad Lions. Not bad. Not bad's first split. Niski was amazing. The bot lane, I criticized about the bot lane about, in the spring split about how many times they died during the bot lane, but turns out I was wrong. They did absolutely well, in the bot lane, and top two finish for Man Lions, not bad. Now, I was thinking of putting them in S tier, but that would be because of how G2 are, and I think G2 are good, and the way Vitality are, with of course Vitality top late, Vitality bot situation being fixed. I will say that Man Lions are a B tier. Now. Here's the thing. I will talk about Vitality, of course. I feel like I should have switched Vitality with Man Lions, and maybe give them an S tier because of how they did in the spring in the winter split. And because this meta is more like a little bit of Hillisang meta with the Nautilus and the Rakans coming back, some champions that Hillisang are notorious for, it will be like maybe Man Lions are a good team right now. And here's the thing, everybody was talking about Vitality and how SK have done. Man Lions are just like slowly below the radar, and people don't know it. They've been slowly below the radar for so long throughout the split that nobody even noticed how Man Lions are good until we reach them in the finals. And then after everything that Man Lions did, they get absolutely clapped by G2, which is no surprise, but still. I feel like but the Man Lions are gonna be fine. Niski is great, Ayoya is amazing, Chazi was, oh boy, his games on Jace is amazing. He is a beast in the top lane, and the bot lane. They've been decent, they've been good, and if they can keep this up, they will be a pretty good team. And maybe I will say that Man Lions could win the split. Yeah, I'm going right now. I feel like Man Lions are going to be one of two, maybe three teams that can win the split, along with G2 and maybe Vitality. That's not an understatement. That's pretty much what it is. I feel like B tier is where they're going to be right now, but if they can just, play incredibly well, win the split, maybe I can put them in S tier. For now, B is where they go. I think the reason why I put it in B tier because of the performance in the finals. Have this series have been close, I would just put it in S tier with G2 and drop Vitality down. But because of how that series went, I just feel like B tier is where they're gonna go. Man Lions are good, but they're not G2 good. Let's be honest. And speaking of S tier, Vitality. Now, yes, okay. Redditors who are, I posted the tier list on the Reddit post, and there was some pushback on Vitality, especially the jungler, and I would say this. You're right. You are absolutely right. I feel like Vitality have, throughout this winter split, have not proved me that they are a good team yet. Their record from the regular season have showcased otherwise, but the bot lane was weak and Bo was not playing incredibly well to make you wanted to feel like they're not a top team. And I can understand where you're coming from. I feel like I understand where many people are coming from. If I were to remember, the Vitality have not achieved anything big since 2018. That was when they made Worlds. Okay? That was the Jizuke Yamato Cannon years. They have not, so since then, they have not achieved anything bigger than that. And if they would have beat SK, it would have been a huge, that top four would have been huge for them. But they crashed and burned and failed miserably. So, why are you putting it on the S tier? Because of one reason. Upset. Upset has been consistently the best bot lane ever and should have been a Fnatic if they have a chance. But I digress. He's been good. He can make the bot lane a little bit better. And I think because of his performance that he did in the spring, in the summer last year, I feel like this could be a huge upgrade for Vitality. Now, I think you're right. I feel like jungle should be changed. But who could be the one that can replace Bo right now? In probably the shortest amount of transfer window that we have right now. Remember, this split is 3 weeks, and then a couple of 3 weeks, then 1 week in the finals, and then that's it. And then 2 weeks later, back at it again. You know, if you wanted to replace Bo, go ahead, be my guest. But who is the good replacement for Bo who can synergize well with Perks? That's the thing. And Photon, of course. So, unfortunately, you are stuck with Bo, who is a decent jungler, don't get me wrong. He's good, but he's not Yanko's good, nor in case of Yike good, or even Malrang good, you know? So I can get where you're coming from. But the reason why I put them in S tier is because of the bot lane. That bot lane has been really, really questionable for so long. And now I feel like Upset could be the answer to their problems. And if Bo can play incredibly well in their second split. I mean, the first split is kind of like he did well and then fell off, of course. But if his jungling domination alongside his synergy with Perks trolls fruition in the spring split, then I can see Vitality being as good enough to not only dominate their split, but also win the split. Now, I get it, Vitality have not achieved anything. But I feel like this is the one time I can say that Vitality can win the split. Can. And I know this is exaggerating. I mean, I can go back to my video and I could be wrong about it. But I feel like Vitality could win the split. I feel like it. You know, if Bo can get his act together, if the bot lane is good enough, and if Photon can be incredible, I feel like Vitality could win. But of course, there's a wait and see, so who knows? And finally, it's G2 Esports S tier. I have nothing to say about G2. They're probably running the same lineup again. Yike. He's good. Caps is unbelievable. I'm so surprised that he won the split MVP, the split finals MVP. Like, I think like Hans Sama should have won. I mean, Hans Sama was literally tearing apart the Man Lions throughout this series, especially in that game 3. I mean, Caps is good, don't get me wrong, but Hans Sama was literally wanted this championship so badly. He has been suffering through the Misfits days, through the Rogue days, to the one time Team Liquid days, and now he comes to G2, a really good organization, and finally won. And I can say this right now, I feel good for Hans Sama. I mean, any Hans Sama fan right now who's been watching him and supporting him, you have to feel good. I know if you're a North America fan, you're a Team Liquid fan, you're broken deep down inside of you, and you know what? It's not them, it's you. It is what it is. But you have to feel happy for him. I think the one problem about G2, the reason why G2 are not on the high tier right now, is top lane, basically. And I feel like that could be a problem for G, and of course jungler. So I think you have top lane and jungler having problems. But I feel like that could be also an issue going into MSI, because now G2 won their split. They are now automatically going to the MSI, where there's a 2 seed, which is going to be automatically play-ins, or the 1 seed, which would need bracket stage. But either way, I look at all the other teams from the different regions. You know, your JDG, who was through to the LPL playoffs. EDG right now is looking good. LNG is pretty much good. And even Top Esports. I mean, Top Esports, they're not great, but they're fine. Weibo, I think the Shy is just in too much. I don't have a good account for him. I need to look at T1, D plus Kia, Gen G, KT Rolto a bit. Maybe. So I look at those teams right now, and I just feel like G2 are like, based on Kajol's understanding and based on everybody's understanding, the 6th best team in the world. Which is no disrespect. I mean, if you're a G2 fan, you must be feeling like, hey, we won the split, okay? We performed well. We're supposed to be like a top 4 team at least. No. Look at every other region. Look at the LPL. Look at the LCK. Maybe look at LCS, but I don't think LCS is just decent enough. But look at those 2 regions and tell me, in your hearts of hearts, do you believe that G2 could beat those teams? I feel like they can, but with a rookie jungler and a top laner that's been weaky a bit, then I can just say that I just don't know if G2 are good enough to win MSI, or even go further into MSI, of course, with the new format and all those kind of stuff. I could be proven wrong, and maybe G2 can, pop off as usual. But I feel like G2 are good enough in the LEC spring split to win again, to make top two, which is going to be huge for their points. And they will not rest on their laurels. I can tell you right now, G2 esports are kind of like the one team that they do not rest on their laurels. They won their split, but they do not rest. They're gonna go turbo war. And here's the thing: G2 won like 70% of their scrims. In fact, they have won like 72, like about 72% of their scrims won, and they are like the only team to not get their scrims blocked throughout their season. That's from their manager. That's from their general manager, like crazy, wacky, paint spraying manager. You know what I'm talking about. The fact that G2 not only scrim a lot, but win a lot of games, it just showcases that other than like Mad Lions, you can say, which team can actually topple G2, throughout the split. Basically nobody. Hans Sommer is now having the monkey off his back for finally winning split. Yike is becoming a champion. Caps is, Caps. Mickey X. Woo! Mickey X is still good. I can tell you right now, Mickey X, you're just like, oh no, this is the same Mickey X from 4 years ago. I mean, okay, that's amazing. He's still good. So I look at the bot is good. I still look at the mid is good. Top lane is kind of like top with jungle and top. It's a kind of where we are now. But other than G2, which team do I feel like they can beat anybody in the LEC? Basically nobody. Now I'm not saying that G2 are going to go into the group stages and beyond undefeated. That's going to be wrong on me. They're going to stumble a bit, finishing top 3, top 4 as they usual. But we all know what G2 are like when the chips are down, where the moments are up, they can step up. And if you give G2 a little bit of tiny window, they will smash it to the ground and they will kill the game off. And that's what G2 are good at. So I don't see the changes in the meta that makes me want to feel like G2 are like not great. It would be shocking if G2 win the split and then not make playoffs the next year. That would be shocking. But G2, with the way they are right now, Dylan Falco is a really good coach. The way they have been doing so many crazy things on their drafts, especially Zach mid. And of course, remember Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is the new flavor of the month, everybody. Mid lane, top lane, bot lane. He can do it all. I mean, I look at the draft from game 2 between DRX and T1, and the fact that DRX actually banned 5 of Gumayoshi's champions and still lost. It's just like, I'm sorry, DRX. How are you becoming world champions? DRX being world championships is like the equivalent of Tottenham Hotspur being a top 4 team. Like, that is weird, but also like, Anyways, you know what? I digress. I feel like G2 are good enough to win the split again. They should lock in their 1 seed in MSI. They should lock in top 4 for the spring finals. And then, how do they do with the MSI? We don't know. I might preview it, but we don't know. In terms of who will win the split, I'm still saying G2. Maybe Vitality could get their act together, and maybe the jungle will be great, and maybe Man Lions because of how they do. Those are my 3 teams to win. Maybe Koi could do well, but who knows? And if SK could step it up and surprise everybody again, maybe they can win the whole split. So 5 teams that can win, half the teams that can win the split, that would make it for a competitive region to watch throughout the spring. And I cannot wait for the spring split to start. I will do my prediction and probably post them on Reddit of like the first week of the LEC split. So if you want, you can rant about it and do something. But other than that, that's the end of the video, everybody. If you like the video, go like it. If you wanted to sub to my channel, go sub it. We are at 11 subscribers, people. We're moving on up into the big pie in the sky, boys. See you, everybody. Enjoy this spring split and have a wonderful week.